Well, hello, my babies, and welcome to another wonderful episode of Spiritual Tea Time with Reverend Patience. Blessed new moon in this lovely Leo, and with everything being going on energetically, I know some of y'all been having some crazy relationship problems and all that kind of good stuff, or feeling energetically drained and all kinds of, yes, people, these retrogrades are slapping some of you folks right in the ass, but you got to put that shadow work in, okay? Today, we're going to have a special. I'll have my lovely ladies from the Sisterhood of Magic and Wonders, my favorite Appalachian gypsies, the Kana sisters. And we're going to be talking about a lovely new book that they have written with their fellow sister, Miss Rhonda Cobwell, if I hope I said her last name right, called Appalachian Conjuring. Now, folk, these ladies are the real deal. You know how you hear about all the little, type of granny work and Appalachian Conjuring and everything that you hear about from the Smokies. These women are the real deal. But before we bring them on real quick, I just want to throw a couple moonology oracle cards I have the new moon and the new moon in Leo cards. Okay. The new moon is letting you know a new start is coming. And with this Leo new moon, that new start is confidence. Ooh, if you can see it and everything. Okay. Confidence is the key to your success. So the new start is use this new moon to remove those negative mindset that's blocking you from whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. Okay. Listen to them frequencies and have some fun. But without further ado, hello, beautiful ladies. Thank you for joining me today.
Hey. Hi. How you doing, honey?
Oh, extremely blessed and highly favored. And it's pissing off all the right people. Girls. I am loving this book. Oh my gosh. When reading it, it makes me feel, I literally feel myself go back in time as a little girl sitting in the kitchen watching Grandma Mary. She was full-blooded Cherokee.
Yes.
And she was from Cherokee, North Carolina, Eastern Band and everything. And so that's where my Appalachian background comes from. And so to see true, because there's several people out there, and some of them you mutually know, that try to claim things. Okay. And it's like, dude, I don't give a damn. If you are not from the mountains, don't claim shit.
Exactly. And the thing of it is, I'm going to give everybody a tip, and we talk about this all the time. And we do a lot of lecturing with Pat. So we always put this out there. There's going to be a telltale of how you can tell if somebody's from the mountains or not. And it's the word. If they got a latch in the Appalachian, they're from us. If they're Appalachian or they say something else, that's not us. That's not the Southern Appalachian. So that's a little telltale for everybody. If they start talking and you're like, wait a minute, that ain't right, that they're telling on themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. They speak in that Queen's England English or whatever, or excuse me, I should say the King's English now because Queen's dead. But yeah, I oh my gosh, I still remember one time hearing about like dealing with the haints
Yes.
and everything. Um, through y'all's practice of Appalachian Conjure, because I know because with all these energies that have been going on energetically, the I've been seeing a lot of people have been saying, no matter what their tradition is in the craft, that the veil has been feeling like, how it's real when it's thin during, Samhain and, and all that kind of good stuff, Halloween, but it's like now because of everything that's been going on. And they've been having a lot more malevolent, you know, entities or whatever come through. What are some of, like you would suggest to protect? What would be an Appalachian way that you guys would like protect your home or self or something?
One thing is, I gotta tell you, I have been seeing like you normally see things and you normally have your space that you put protection, right? As in, you could put iron, you could put stones in different corners. Me, wherever I go, because I can't really go to work because I can't claim to be a witch at work because they're very Christian and they're very.
Right. Yeah.
So I usually like carry a satchel with me that has like different herbs for protection, stones, and I always wear jewelry that has that. But I also push out that atmosphere of like a white light of a circle around me. And I usually just kind of, it's really weird. It's kind of like an animal that makes its scent around it. So I always
Hmm.
have safe spaces. And at work, I'll tell you, this past time, like during this retrograde, my job got caught on fire as soon as I walked in the door.
Girl.
A fire, like they were like, God, as soon as you walk in, I'm like, listen, I have bad luck lately, just let me go. So that I've also seen like different spirits that I normally do not. So normally, like I said, I get in a mindset of this is my job, I need to do it, and this you're not allowed to come to me this time, like later on or things like that. But it's been a lot of different things, so I do believe the veil has been thinning.
Yes.
Sometimes when you put up your protection and they're meant to talk to you, they will still kind of go around your protection and try to talk. So you just kind of
Preach, baby.
you gotta up your shields and things like that. What do you do for yours?
Well, that's kind of funny you say this, and I'm glad that other people are feeling this. Heck, we're going, man, there's something peculiar going on. Like, let me give you just a clip of what happened to us recently. And it was kind of funny because where we live is our grandparents' house. So I know we're protected. When we walk through, even when we were just investigating, when we would walk through the doors, we would be like, we understand we're protected. So things got so crazy. I was out here feeding the animals, like the chickens and stuff. I was like, y'all gotta pull your weight out here. Like I'm talking to my ancestors. I'm talking to my grandparents. I'm like, y'all gotta pull your weight. Like things are crazy. And then as soon as I walked in this house, I smelt them. Like they've been gone for 20 some years, but everybody has a smell. And that was them saying,
Yes.
listen, we're trying the best we can. Let me give you a clip of this. So the other day, just the squall comes up just really quickly, storm. Do you know it rips? Now we live in the country. It ripped the power line out of the side of our house.
I believe it.
Then just us, nobody else on the street. So do you know that then the power company comes and they say, you know what? You're really lucky. Normally it rips the whole side of your house off when this happens. And I'm like, yeah, I was like, wow. And they were telling us, they were like, stay in the house. You have live wires out in your yard. Nothing got hurt. Nothing got damaged. They were able to put it back really quickly. I'm telling my neighbor this. And as I'm telling him all these things that are happening to us, he's like, wow, you're really lucky, aren't you? And I was like, oh
Knock on
man.
wood, God,
Yeah, I was
right?
like, wow, I didn't even think of it like that. I'm talking about like random family members have started peeing blood. I'm not joking. Like these are crazy things. And then we'll go to the hospital and there's nothing wrong with them. They just cleared up. There's like, this is peculiar. This is happening. So whatever is going on, y'all.
That's spiritual attack right there, baby. From own personal experience and dealing with a lot of my clients and everything, when you have being have any type of malevolent attack, psychic attack, dark magic, whatever, or dark prayers on you, it will show up as a physical ailment. And then people go to the doctor and they get all these physical tests and are coming up negative and inconclusive. And like I said, with even my own experience, when that means physical attack. And like with my situation, I literally, I had told a certain person had taken me, my husband, and my daughter and threw us in the pot and threw the 21 divisions after us in the malevolent way. And when you do that, working with the 21 divisions, it always shows up in your target either as a blood poisoning like leukemia or some kind of tumor, cancerous tumor. And I was showing the signs of uterine cancer. Okay. And girl, I do not recommend, even with all the numbing stuff that they try to put. Girl, that pain down there getting biopsies hurt worse than giving birth naturally 3 times. Okay. Luckily, I had endometriosis and it deemed me, qualified to get a hysterectomy. So, and I could hear my Puerto Rican grandmother yelling in my ear to get it out in Spanish. So I got the surgery. And luckily, my gynecologist, she's originally from New Jersey in Sicilian. Strega, Italian witches run in her family. And so we never talked about being practitioners of any way or form, but she knew I was a natural health practitioner and she totally respected that. I come in for my 2-week biopsy and she goes, "Kid, you know your body." And I'm like, "What you talking about, Willis?" What, like what? She goes, "Honey, when I did the biopsy on your uterus, which was the size of what a woman would look like at 6 months because of the tumors, they were hidden in the lining of my uterus. That's why the test came up inconclusive." And guess how many there were? 21, from the size of a pea to the size of a freaking quarter. So that gave me confirmation. And then exactly 2 weeks later, after my surgery, because I'll never forget it. It was in September when the day that Pluto went direct, I had gotten a sharp pain in my third eye, like someone's took an ice pick in it. And then all of a sudden I started getting screenshots of the person that I was told prior that had done this foolishness against me and my family. She, her husband, and her daughter had died in the house fire. And her daughter was 2 days older than mine.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm always telling these babies and everything, you got to be justified in what you're doing, not working from ego. And 99.9%, we're not justified in doing any type of malevolent work. That's why you're supposed to hand it over to your ancestors, hand it over to the divine, and let them take care of business. And if they see it fit to take the person out of the 3D and take them to the next dimension, then so be it. That's out of your hands. Like we say, we prayed it up. It's out of my hands now, So people came after me saying I should feel guilty. I said, feel guilty for what? This person tried to use magic to come after my family.
And you and your, yes.
It's one thing to come after me and my husband because we're well-seasoned and, highly educated practitioners, if you know what I'm saying. But not my child. Because at the time when this happened, my daughter was only 13 years old.
Oh, my goodness.
Luckily now she, little girl can fly on the broom on her own, if you know what I'm saying, because she has me as a teacher.
Yeah.
But then and everything, because when I met, technically she's my stepdaughter, but I've raised her since she was 8 years old. And I could already tell that she was already interested in stuff because I found a little thing on, the computer looking up spells to become a vampire and all this other stuff at 8. And I was trying to explain to her about things and of course, upset my husband about me talking about the subject. But I was just pointing it out to him that this child was already on her own looking at it, and you need to pay more close attention when she's on the internet looking at it and everything. And he promised me that once she turned 13 and she's still showing the gifts and interest and everything, I could teach her whatever the hell I want. And I said, okay. And lo and behold, I got her first little tarot deck. It was kitties. Little kittens. And so talented, is so blessed. Oh, real quick, shout out to my sponsors, Indigo Psychics, Coffee and Clarity, which is proud to announce the first psychic coffee company internationally ever to be around. Yes, darling. Oh, where you can come for coffee or spiritual advice. Either way, it's to help your life to live best as deliciously as possible. And I also have my own brew, which is the Reverend's Conjure Brew, which is a lovely dark roast with hints of baker's chocolate and caramelized sugar. I can't wait. Yes. Oh, honey, we're gonna have some fun. Um, Also, during the broadcast, if you to support our Facebook page or the YouTube, you could always give stars as gifts, donations on the Facebook, or thank you dollars on the little heart that you see in the description of the YouTube. Orchid Rose says, "Hello, it's nap time for my little one, so I'm happy to be present. Good afternoon. I agreed to give to the ancestors, and I also believe in defending our families." Amen.
Yes.
Amen. Now, when you guys have had situations
Yeah.
where people have spiritually came after the family and everything, have you? Because I know a lot of these people and everything, usually try to be all love and light and all that kind of good stuff until they get a sunburn spiritually. Oh, I can't stand it. But what are some of the ways that through the Appalachian tradition and everything would be a good way for parents, especially because we got the babies coming back to school and everything, that they could um, do spiritual protection for them babies against like bullies and focusing with school and all that stuff without being obvious.
Do you want to go?
I always, with mine, I love satchels, and I always like push those forward because with my satchel, I actually took these. It was garland, and they were little skulls, and they were like cute little things. And also, crocheting is really in right now, and I got really into it. Little crochet dolls, and I stuff it full of herbs and stones and things like that. So they always have it with them, but yeah, it's not obvious that's what it is. Like my little satchels, I always talk about those. It just looks like a little air freshener or things like that. It looks like an air freshener satchel. So I always put spells in that, and then it just looks like a doll. So with those, Misty, she also does like little jewelry and things like that.
Yeah.
Those are sneaky ways. I always call it like kind of sneaking your witchcraft in, so it's not obvious to the person around into it. But yet, if they knew, they'd be like, "Wait a minute," if they smelt it and things like that. So I always try to hide my stuff because like I said, I'm in a job that you can't be open and things like that. So my little things that I do make to give forward is, kind of hidden in the best kind of way. Hidden in broad light daylight is what I normally say.
Mine is like Ashley was saying. If you see me at a convention or you see us at a convention and you buy a piece of my jewelry, it's not just a piece of jewelry. And I tell people that. I give things like, for example, you'll see me do manifestation beads a lot. And it's literally, people don't understand that you can be, especially in these mountains, we still believe in God, honey. We don't.
Amen.
Plus, we believe in all the different elements. So you got somebody who is well-versed in a lot of different things. So I use things kind of like rosary beads, but I do not magic on them. So when you're wearing a bracelet of mine, I have not only infused it with protection, but I show you how to infuse it also. So nobody would know that. I had a lady of mine, she went to a gallery reading and it was by another medium. And we were at the same event and we were doing another event. So she caught me in the middle and I had made something personalized for her. And do you know that medium went up to her in front of everybody and put her hand on that bracelet? And she's like, "That is really powerful. And somebody made that specifically for you." And she said, "Yes, they did." So when you buy something from me, it's not that. But what I sell the most of that is so cute and like people give it to their kids and stuff like that is I grind up my own potion and I use blessed salt, which people talk about black salt and stuff like that, and that's beautiful. But I do a lot of cleansings. So I want that salt to be prayed upon so many times. I want it to be, I like to catch the sunlight in that so that it can actually so many times and things like that. I incorporate that into them. So I am blessing and I am protecting as much as I can. And it looks like a little vial and you would never know. It looks like little trinkets. And people buy it. And I'm like, listen, this is more powerful than you think. So they can get loved ones. So we are sneaky, but we've had to be, haven't we? Witches have had to be our whole life.
You in the Bible Belt, baby. Trust me, like we were talking about prior to the show and everything. I mean, I'm from, my family's in the mountains and the swamps of the South. Okay. And both areas and stuff, like with my mom, my mama and everything down in Florida, she belongs to a little church lady group. Yeah. But the way they act and everything, they're a Christian witch coven. Yeah. They're little ladies of both Protestant and Catholic churches. They're all prayer warriors, keeper of the prayer closet. You know what I'm saying? when they're not going to little nursing homes, they come together around the full moon on their months off to celebrate the ladies' birthdays of the month, and then they put each other on each other's prayer list at church, the type of thing. And then, growing up, like you guys, we have to hide, like you said, where you can still be blatantly out in the open, but yet hidden at the same time. Like I keep a copy of the King James Bible app on my phone.
Yes.
I had a situation and everything that happened at my part-time job that I work at and everything with a coworker. And she was a walking hypocrite, if you know what I mean. Okay. Mm-hmm. And she was a narcissistic bully. And I called her out on it. And I told her, honey, according to your Bible and everything, there's a special place in hell for liars and deceivers like you. And she, of course, she didn't like that. So when she had taken part of the ladies of the, because I work in adult foster care for vulnerable adults, she had taken the ladies on the errand, and I was waiting at the house for her to come back so I could take one of the clients to a wedding shower for her sister. I got in the Bible. Because as we say, in the Bible Belt, the Bible will make the wise person more wise or the fool more of a fool. And so I used her own spirituality against her. I prayed Psalms 35 to stop her slander and gossip. I did Psalms 20 because I knew we were going to have to go in front of HR for the situation and everything to make sure that they believed me and not her lies like you're going in front of a judge. Psalms 109, which is one of my favorite biblical hexes that literally slaps the karma back 1,000-fold on the target and makes their life hell on earth, people, until they do right by the target that they have wronged. And if they don't do right by the person they did wrong, it's out of your hands because you don't prayed it up. And then Psalms 93 for victory in court, as I say, and Psalm 119 to help with the situation. Oh, and Psalm 70 for victory. Like I tell, because if you truly understand and everything, like it's one of the most powerful books of spells is the Bible. And that's how like people like y'all and like myself, growing up and everything, been able to use certain things like that. Like for instance, hypocrites hate it when I point out that Jesus is Lucifer. Revelations 26:14. Jesus says, I am the light, I am the morning star.
Yes.
Who's the morning star, people? Okay. And that's why I, anytime I had to say a little prayer to Lucifer or a certain situation, I was burning a Jesus candle. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I totally, a lot of people, even in the 21st century and everything. And that's why I'm so honored and so blessed to know you ladies, because you are helping teach people to get in tuned with who they are because of growing up in like the mountains and down in the South, Southern, parts like where I grew up. We have to hide because of big cities, being liberal. You can say I'm a witch and no one bats eyes. No one gives a shit. But out in the country, they'll lynch you still.
They will. Very much so. Very much so.
Have you, what were you saying, baby?
You're good. In our book, we were talking because we actually have stories of grandparents, like, our grandma, that she was a healer, not a, practicing witch or things like that. Because if you took on the term witch, then that was terribly bad. You didn't believe things like that, just all the verbiage. But a healer, you were helping people, you're still working with God. That is something that I chose not to put into the book, to talk about, the Bible and things like that. And that's a big thing in Appalachian witchcraft. But for me, I just wanted any of my spells that I've written, and I put a lot of effort into and things like that. I say in the beginning, I believe there's truth in every religion. But I was raised to believe in God, and I believe, like, I'm a Baptist, things like that. That's how I was raised. But I see truth in everything. They're all similar. Amen. So for me, I didn't put a whole lot of Bible verses or things like that in there because I wanted any person to sit down and read this and be able to contribute their God to these spells. Yeah. Because regardless of like the ingredients I used or the intent behind it, it would still have power with what I believed into. And then I think, like, I've really thought into that because someone had said, well, Appalachian witches, you should have Bible verses in there. And I took for a second, why does magic work completely? Why does it work? take away there is nothing. And maybe we're all quacks and maybe it doesn't work at all. Like maybe what we're doing doesn't work. Psychologically, it is pretty much a placebo effect. So
they're focusing tools. Yep.
yeah, and you're putting your intent out there. Like even
Amen.
code, like you keep on talking about how you want to be a millionaire. You want to be a millionaire. You put that in your mind of constantly looking at that. Was it Da Vinci Code?
I think it is The Secret.
The Secret. There you go. You just keep putting it out there. That technically is a spell. All these things we kind of overlook is witchcraft. But when you see a little kid and they're petrified, and it doesn't matter if you have a spell or Lysol and a squirt gun, and they're coming to you saying that they have a ghost or they have a monster in their, regardless, of course, we would go into further things and thinking, okay, let's make sure there isn't anything because we're, more like able to see that. But a normal casual person that doesn't think that, they can really take this squirt bottle of Lysol or air freshener and go there and be like, this is a monster, go away. And that kid will be so relieved. That's pretty much what magic is. And I really sit and pondered that, as in it helps people mentally. Even if you keep a positive outlook on having cancer, your process will go so much better than just constantly being like, okay, this is going to be bad. This is not. And you can see how your mindset will make you blossom rather than taking everything down. Even anxiety and depression has an effect on you.
Yep.
So in a way empowers you regardless. Yeah. Take away the mysticism. It empowers a person to have control over their life. So regardless if that's Appalachian magic or Strager, anything, there's a purpose for it to be out there in this time for us to, take over our lives rather than feel like we're just going along like a turd in the river.
Amen, girl. It's very true. I totally agree with that. That's why, like when I have my students come to me and I teach universal folk magic, because all the tools are the same. No matter you say tomato, I say tomato. It's the same fruit, right? Like I had one young lady, she wasn't understanding the concept, and I told her, I said, when you pull the spiritual stuff aside, I mean, it's like cooking. Okay, you may have a different recipe, but do you know how many different recipes around the world for chicken and rice?
Exactly.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing when it comes to magic and stuff. And that's why I love about your book and everything, because you were able to talk about your tradition, but yet make it applicable no matter what anyone's path is of the craft or whatever their spirituality is, they can apply it.
Right.
Because of the universal tools that you guys speak about in your book and, and the different spells and rituals that you have in the book, which, oh my gosh, hold on, people. This book right here.
Yes. Thank you.
Get it, y'all. Get it. I highly recommend. And also, too, people, I'm going to put it out there and everything. These lovely ladies, my company is sponsoring and putting on a lovely event at the Orleans next year, January 20th and 21st, and in Las Vegas. And these lovely ladies are going to be there speaking on Appalachian Conjuring, the Connell Sister Way. And also, too, their fellow Coven member, Mama Pat, who put out the book Granny Magic, she is going to be there too as well, talking about Granny Magic. And the reason why I'm getting like a fangirl is because I'm going to finally get y'all to autograph my book.
I want to tell you cover too. That actually, people don't realize, because you can get stock pictures to go on the cover. That cover with the trees is actually me and Ashley deep in the Appalachian Mountains at a cemetery. And I turned in the book, the woods was like so, like you could just see straight down to all the, and I thought this is the other one of that conjure at the bottom is actually us conjuring. So people don't know that this book is us, like to the T, all the things. And thank you for bringing up about the scriptures and stuff too, because people get really, they get really in that. Like I had somebody say, well, Missy, you didn't tell us your prayers when you're doing your cleansings, or you didn't bring your prayers, because my prayers were, and I had to nicely say, I'll teach you all kinds of stuff, but I can't teach you my prayers because that's my direct line. And in the mountains, you were saying that everybody's different, right? In the mountains, every holler is different. And our superstition is if I give you my prayers, they ain't gonna work for me no more, and they may not work for you either, and then we've lost this gift that we have. So that's why, and thank you for bringing that up, guys, and also for having us in Las Vegas, man.
Yes, we're gonna be partying at the New Orleans, baby. And if y'all don't know, out there in TV land, New Orleans is themed like Mardi Gras, and 20th and 21st of January is in the middle of Mardi Gras season. It's going to be in the Mardi Gras room, and like I said, our hosts are going to be the Weird Sisters, which is Lady TA and Mama Voodoo. I am very blessed to be a part of this and everything. We're gonna have vendors, we're gonna have readers, people like our lovely ladies here speaking on different subjects and variants. We trying to make it an all-inclusive, where no matter what your tradition, what your spiritual path is of the craft, what type of broom, as they say, you fly on, I want everybody welcome, whether you're Christian, left-handed, Wiccan, fluff bunny, Santeria, African of some kind, Appalachian, whatever you may be. I want everyone welcomed and everything. And if you come in there with an attitude of ego and start causing problems, there's a no. We ain't gonna allow it. And then also too, I can't wait for Saturday night because we got DJ Loki giving us a witchy rave.
Oh man!
Woo! Lord, we're gonna tear it.
Well, see, it's back in the 90s. I was a rave baby and everything. And my little brother and I in Florida used to put on the secret raves that everyone waited for the beeper to call to find out where or get the email saying, okay, the location's here. Oh, I was not a little girl back in those days, partying out in the woods and everything. And, because traditionally, a lot of these gatherings, they have these bougie, formal balls, which is balls and everything. I'm country, honey. Let's have some fun. That's my one friend says, because I'm a cross between Morticia and Daisy Duke with a Latina twist.
So we get along well, honey. That's what we get along well.
Ooh, Michelle Anderson in Canada wants to know where she can find your book. Will you please let everybody know where they can purchase your book from?
Yes, number one, Amazon. So I'm going to tell you the story about this book, and it is near and dear because I stayed up long hours putting it together, and I'm so glad that you mentioned how our practices were in there. There's three of us that went in on this book, and each one of it is different, and you can tell when you start reading our chapters, our flow is different. Like Ashley's is a little bit different than mine, even though we're sisters. Rhonda's is completely different. She lives down the way, so her holler was different than our holler. So each one, you get three different flavors in this book. But and when it came out, people were bringing it to me, and I saw things that I didn't like about the book, as in the structure of it. So I pulled it back off. And when I did, Amazon said this book is not available anymore. So then I put it back on, right? Because I wanted to make sure it was perfect. Because no matter if I'm still here, Ashley's still here, years later, somebody finds this book, I want them to be like, this is the best book that could have been. I don't want anything to be wrong with it. So it is on Amazon, ma'am. It is available. If you get a thing that says it's not available, there's another one right there with it. It's the one that says Appalachian Conjuring, 100 spells, and I can't remember all but we have it here somewhere. But I will tell you that it is available on Amazon, and if you see us in person, we sell them.
Like I said, I can't wait to I'm gonna be having y'all and Mama Pat sign her book as well and everything. So if I act like a little fangirl when I see y'all and everything, please forgive me.
Girl, there ain't no fangirl here. We're country as cornbread, and you know that. So we are just regular people, and we're blessed to know you, honey, to have us at your event.
I'm more excited. I've been part of 2 damn books. Usually Appalachians are known to not read.
Amen, girl. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? So, when doing this process of writing your book and everything, where did you guys get most of your inspiration besides growing up in your culture? Was there certain family members, that walked with you and everything that inspired you for, certain things?
Well, The thing is, in our Appalachian culture, honestly, they didn't come out and say you're a witch. They never said you're doing magic. It was really big. You don't ask your elders questions. You don't question anything they do. If they told you to go out there and take your underwear off and throw them around, then that's what you had to do. They didn't ask us to do that, but it was pretty much, that was just something you did. And if you didn't do it, it was bad luck. You had to do this. You had to do that. So it was just so weird, and coming into our own to realize we were different, because we lived on this farm. Like, when I mean we lived on this farm, we were lucky to go to Walmart. Like, I think I went to Walmart one summer as a child, and it was like the best thing ever. And going through a drive-through, oh my God, the dollar menu at like Taco Bell was like amazing. Okay, growing up, my best friend was a damn goat, because like you only had to choose these weird people that lived close to you, because you couldn't go up to town. It wasn't really like, hey, I'll hang out with the one I like down the street. I'll just walk a little further. It was, you got that person, and they might be weird and they might have family issues, but you ain't got nothing else, so you'll play outside. So we didn't like get on cloaks and things like that, and we didn't venture into those ideas till later. We just knew we were weird. So honestly, what happened is, well, we didn't know we were weird. They just said, oh, it's coincidences, and you need to pray about that. If you don't start acting right, we're going to send you to church, and this and that and the other.
I've got that done.
The devil's after you. Stop playing with that match. You're going to pee the bed. And it was just stupid,
all these little things,
superstitions that they would just pound into us. We never, like I said, you didn't question. You didn't have the internet to be like, Grandma's damn weird, let's Google this. We just did it. So, moving forward, like, we were always amused by the paranormal. Now, mind you, haints and things like that you weren't supposed to mess with. So we got constant like Bible verses from our cousins thrown at us. We're going to hell, things like that. Yeah. So we got into the paranormal, and Pat was in the paranormal. And we always thought she was kooky as fuck and weird, okay? So, Pat just
God bless you, Pat. We love you.
She understands.
Yes, she does.
Hey, don't pick on my mom.
You're natural witches. And I'm like, well, we're not going to hell, so no, we're not. So we just kept on doing things like that. And I would just bring Pat little gifts, and she was just like, you know, you're a witch. I would, like, for instance, we went to Salem just because we thought it was cool, and I got her a little vial of dirt, and I brought it back to her.
From the graveyard,
and she was like, oh, and she was so excited. But I would just collect weird little things like this, and like we had, our spells that or not spells. It was traditions of, oh, well, don't say this person's name, don't do this and that and the other. Yeah. So going forward, Pat being an open witch, she actually took us out of the broom closet. She would just start taking us to these witch circles. And we were just like, this is weird. We love her, but, we'll just show up because we're cool with everybody does, and they would be washing our feet, and they would be chanting, and we were just like, yeah, we got a foot wash. Like, it was things like that. So growing up, they weren't. And later on, we asked questions when we realized what the hell we were doing. We asked questions. They're like, well, yeah, your whole line's actually healers. We always were meant, like, we used our third eye psychically because our grandmother had Alzheimer's. So it was, science said there was nothing in there, and we refused to believe that. Me and Miss connected, as in, like, I would dream, or I would read something and she would dream it. So we always had gifts, and we were always doing odd little things. We just didn't tell people about it. So when Pat came along and she recognized our weird, and she's like, yeah, this is what you are, girls. And one, like, get your shit together and come on the road, and you're going to start.
Amen. And I'm glad she did. It's just beautiful that, like I said, the work that you all are doing and out there and everything, because this internet has brought out the devils and the bulls, and everything. I know that, like, the girl, don't even get me started.
I love TikTok, but I think it's the devil also, because it gave a platform to anybody who was uneducated to come on and say, I am somebody that you should listen to, and all these little people are running right behind them. Like, literally, you'll see contradictions on there all the time, and people get confused, and then they think that you gotta, the world. Let me tell you the whole secret of the whole world. If you can divide people, you can conquer them. That's the whole thing. That's why we have preachers that want to control congregations, or we have little groups that they love to put us in. And the day that us witches realize, because this is the way it used to be back in the day, we were witches, we took our power back, right? When we realized that the divisions they want to put in, like Stragas and Appalachian witches, or let's say, you know, somebody who is an almonistic, or somebody who is a right or right path, when they realize that the same magic that flows through one flows through another because it's harnessing us, our magic, how powerful will we be? And that is the crazy thing. I see more gatekeeping and I see more hindering of the craft on TikTok than I've ever seen. So thank you for having a convention people can physically go to, that are practitioners there, that are literally somewhere, and a platform here that we can talk about all these different things. When people realize that, it was so crazy. We were at a place and we were literally speaking, and it was in, was it Ohio? Northern Kentucky. And there was a hoodoo practitioner, and she listened to us talk. And when she did, she made a beeline over. She's like, "Ma'am, we do the same thing." Yes, we do. But for some reason, they want to keep us separate. And understand, it's all the same. It's root, it's folk, it's all those types of things. And I love that. And social media is a beautiful place we can all connect, but it's also a place that I've never seen. So they call them like TikTok witch wars and shit. I'm like, I'm not, girl, I'm trying to live out on the farm. I ain't got your damn
preach, honey. Trust me, they do it on the Facebookers too with all that stuff. And I just banned and delete, block. I don't even do TikTok. I'm old school. I'm lucky I'm on Instagram and Facebook half the time. I don't even deal with that, especially after I heard the babies when it first started. Them baby witches were sitting there wanting to hex the fae and the moon. Are you stupid? Who the hell is teaching y'all? I need to go slap them up with the Bible. Holy crap!
I wonder they won.
And then also too, the ones that have no lineage whatsoever, teaching about the fae, like like they Tinkerbell or something. I said, "Are you trying to get people hurt?"
And like 12 or 11 years old and having so many followers, and then they're supposed to know the secrets of the universe. I'm like, what? Don't get me wrong, path, but then
exactly
when I tell people I am a witch, I cringe, because you don't know how they're going to react, because there's certain ones that think their way is the only way and you're completely wrong about everything. And then there's certain ones that want to, like I said, I believe in God and I'm Baptist. I got out of that religion because they wanted to shove it down my throat. I sure as shit don't want to be over here thinking I'm free and wonderful and, you know, braless, and then they're shoving one on me. Like, I don't know.
Preach.
I know.
Orchid Rose says, definitely isn't Disney. Is it for true? Because if you truly study, you know, about the old ways of the Irish and the Scottish and everything, and dealing with the fae, a lot of them, they would eat you alive think about you. They're not pretty little, cute little things. The true fae, majority of them are not. They're little tricksters. Also, so you think you're working with Tinkerbell, but you're not.
No, you're not. And if you see something shiny on the ground, let's say you're in the woods or you're beside a tree or something like that, you see something shiny on the ground, do not pick that shit up. That is a tracker for you. As soon as you do, they're on you. I've had people give me things that are equivalent with the fae. They are a type of fae. People don't understand, this shit's older than us, man. We are things you leave alone. Just like in these mountains, if we hear shit at night, we hear whistling, we see something that morphs, you don't pay attention to that shit. That's what our ancestors, what they don't understand is when they came over, because when Pangea, right, that when we were all one big, these mountains, these Appalachian mountains were actually Africa. It was actually Europe. So when it splits, right, that's why people come to the mountains and they feel like they're home, because that is your home. That's where you came from, your homeland. We brought these hates and we brought these superstitions with us. So these old people who have survived in these mountains or wherever, and they're like, do not do that. Like what Ashley was saying, you don't do that shit. So if you see something shiny, honey, don't pick it up. That is a trick, and they are trying to bait you. But I did give me a fae one time, and I didn't realize what he was doing. And he said, I want to give you a gift.
That's
and I said, okay.
A few times. Apparently they're on, like, you know, giveaway.
They want to give me something. They
like,
did.
That bitch right there needs a Ani And she needs a face.
I got
like,
offered
I'm
an Oni. An Oni is a Japanese devil. I mean, not devil. I'm sorry.
Demon.
Excuse me, demon. And they said, here, we can give this to you. You just have to have rice. Da, da, da. And I said, honey, I already got a teenager. I can't take this responsibility too. So I had to take that one. But I had somebody give me one. And I said, okay, I'll take it because I really respected him. And he's like, this thing is going to do your bidding on the other side and make you more power. Yeah. Don't say his name. I'm trying to break the relationship off. I'm serious. Like these are elemental things we're talking about. This isn't shit like on our level. This is stuff older than us. We really have to be careful in that, you know? And it's kind of funny because you talked about how they wanted to take us to church to get I have been anointed over because I was Pentecostal growing up. Me and Ashley like had two different lives.
They're
in that
still
area.
Trying to pray that out of her.
They were.
You want to know? My God, she's so messed up. Just
that's why, like my healing, right? My egg cleansing, my Appalachian egg cleansing. It's funny because people believe that is something of witchcraft. No, honey, I had pretty much the same damn thing happen in a church to me. So it's all a mix up here, but it is everywhere. I just wish that there wasn't gatekeeping. I wish that, you know, we could all just try to survive. We've had to hide for years. I wish somebody would tell them, you're out here proudly, but there's been witches that have had to hide forever or we would have got killed. You left your coven or talked bad about your coven, you would have got killed. People don't understand them things. I hope you don't get banned because I said that unalived. I guess that's what you're supposed to say. The hip thing you're supposed to say.
I ain't hip. I'm old school. Okay. I ain't down with all the lingo what these babies are saying now these days. I'm Generation X and proud of it. Damn it. Put it this way, I still believe in ass whooping when needed, whether you're a child or an adult. Okay.
Thank you.
I'll get the spiritual switch, the wooden spoon, or the belt.
For raise 100%. What were you saying about Dolly Parton?
Actually, Dolly Parton came out with songs, and you wouldn't think Dolly Parton's right up there, you know, right up there touching her toes to the heaven. I think she is so damn great. But even she came out with a song that was about reading about bones, and Misty introduced that to me. I'm like, oh my God, and I cried because you don't understand the fear you had was the dentist, the doctor, the devil, and then CPS. You're like, I think that that's the fear you have back in the woods, okay? So I was just crying up a storm because they took her kid. And I'm like, I understand. She just had her one-eyed cat and her goat. And I'm like, oh. But I was going back to the fae and things like that. So I work in a machine shop, right? So at nighttime, sometimes I have an issue because I have to put my witchy self in a box because I have to make money, right? And so I go and we don't talk about witchy stuff. And I have this little old man, he's getting ready to like retire and things like that. So he's really grooming me to take his position. I work nighttime, he works daytime. So we're sitting there and he is not into he has a relative that is pagan. So he kind of halfway knows about certain things and he knows I go off and do certain things. But I don't give him the full, you know. So one time he's like, God, these machines are messing up so much. I swear we got gremlins in here or something, machine gremlins. And I'm like, I think we do. I've seen them. He's like, I was like, I know what you're saying. And I'm like, his motherfuckers do. I swear. Sometimes I think these machines have gremlins. Like old, like I just imagine the Bugs Bunny. Because I will see like dark things. He's like, yeah, I bet you're over here seeing dark stuff shit. And I'm like, I do. I'm like, no. I have to keep my mind. I'm like, these are normal people and things like that. So I'm telling you, I feel like it's that old Bugs Bunny cartoon over there on these machines because sometimes they will mess up for no reason, and I'm like, these little motherfuckers. And I gotta come in there and like it's funny because he's like, I see you rearranged. I guess the feng shui and energy flow wasn't right. I was like, you're right. So funny. Yeah, too. I have to switch gears on the weekends when I go to anything witchy, as in when I have like, this is a machine shop. These are all people that work on logical, like as in not out there spiritually, and they're turning wrenches. So it's different when I have to change gears, and it slips up sometimes. I'm like, there's gremlins over here beating on every damn thing. So
I totally feel you on that. At the little house that I work in and everything, because I used to work at a thrift store for another company working with vulnerable adults, and the thrift store is right on the crossroad, and it has a few spirits in the place, so we kept Florida water going. in the place because they would act up and everything. And then we're working with people who are on the spectrum. They're literally human keys to the spirit world. Well, it would be my luck as a professional psychic medium to transition from one company to another and one workplace to another that's also haunted as well. The house that I work in had a lady that used to be there years ago who had Down syndrome, Miss Martha. And when I first started there, I could feel her, but she wouldn't reveal herself to me. And then once she did, I had first gotten there, and they have like a little lock box with the house key in it and everything. And I had started the afternoon shift before the ladies got home from work, and my routine would, to unlock the door. And as the doors cracked open, I would, put the key back in the lockbox. Well, as I go in, I turn around to shut the door. I never touched the deadbolt, ever. It's sticking out. And I looked over, and there she is, and then runs back downstairs in the basement to the room that she used to be in.
Oh, shoot.
And then also, too, the whole area of the little town that I'm in Minnesota is called Mora. And it used to be Ojibwe or Chippewa land and everything. And there's a spirit of a medicine woman in the house, and in their native culture, people who were special like that were they had a special place in the tribe, and for them, because they were known, besides two spirited people, people on the spectrum were known to have that spirit, that connection with the spirit world and great spirit. And I had started referring myself as Mama Bear because of how protected I am of the ladies, whether we be out in public or if it need be protected of themselves and all that kind of good stuff. And I had seen, it was real late at night, about 3 o'clock in the morning, we had a bad storm, and a big crack of lightning was so strong. The vibration of the thunder shook the house like you were in an earthquake in California. And I woke up and I saw her and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I'm just dreaming. Go back to sleep. Because I do the overnights there. And I was talking with one of my fellow spiritual advisors from Indigo Psychics, and she's like, no, she's there to let you know she loves what you're doing, and she respects. She sees that you genuinely care and love and protect these ladies. And because of a certain situation I was going through, had been told that if I needed any help to have a situation taken care of, she would let the warriors know to go take care of my enemies. Mm-hmm. And come to find out, her name was Mama Bear, but how you say it in Ojibwe. Oh, she was a medicine woman. Yeah. And it just, because I was kept on being told I was going to be having a new spirit guide come. I'm like, another ancestor? What the? I said, with my Creole ass, I got enough ancestors between the Native American, the European, and the African. Who's coming in now? And it was her. And it's been very peaceful in the house and everything, because I brought in some stuff to honor her. And but with my company, you can't talk about stuff like that and everything. And we had a situation where I'm sitting in the living room with one of my clients. They have a bingo game you can play on the TV. She's sitting there playing the TV. And then one of the other girls was out on the front porch, nowhere near the front door, on the phone with her best friend, Ashley. And all of a sudden, the front door goes click, and nobody physically was standing there. One client's looking through the window. The one sitting on the couch is looking at me, and both of them, their poor little eyes are about popping out the head. And like I said, we can't talk about that stuff. And but I gave them the look because they're used to work, like I said, with me at the thrift store, so they know about those type of things. So when my program manager came in and said, you know what, it's sort of hard not to talk about certain things like that when it's blatantly making itself known to the client. How are you supposed to explain that type of stuff? Oh, you got to downplay it much as possible. It's sort of hard to when it's, like I said, blatantly doing stuff. And as soon as we're talking about, we hear a big crash in the basement bedroom. Oh my God. Because the one client now that stays in that bedroom, besides it being Miss Martha in there as her roommate, she has 5 haunted dolls that came in through the thrift store.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, put it this way. We spread the Florida water big time in that house. Mm-hmm. And at trying to explain, because certain clients of certain homes, we understand they have allergy sensitivities, but luckily the ladies are used to smelling the Florida water and the lavender spray from working with me at the thrift store. And so I started, like I said, making a habit of spraying through the house and everything on the regular to keep the peace and everything. And first time I did it, they all came in. I know that smell. Ooh, that smells good.
Oh,
It was so sweet, and so definitely with everything going on with the way you live your life, I love what you guys are doing, because you're showing people how you could be your authentic self, and still, even if you're hiding, you're still here. I am at the same time, because a way of working through things. Because that's why, personally, for myself, I had had studied and learned on so many different spiritualities and religions and all that kind of good stuff, because of always growing up in the Bible Belt, and you're not supposed to be doing this. And well, wait a second. As I start learning, you guys do this, and this. It ain't no different than what these people are doing, but you're just doing it in the name of Jesus.
Yep.
yep.
Exactly.
You call yourself a prayer warrior, keeper of the prayer closet, but actually you're just a Christian witch. You're doing the same exact stuff. That's like what I tell people: when you see a church lady and if she looks at you and everything, I'm gonna pray for you. You better hope she's in a good mood. Because if she's one of those ones in the nasty moves, like I said before, go in there and hit a Psalms 109 on your butt, you're going to feel it. And you ain't going to like it.
That actually happened recently. This lady come into me, and I did a cleansing. We were in Illinois, and I did a cleansing on her, and I saw this lady praying, and this lady was like unhinged, man. She was angry. And I said, I know this is going to sound weird, but you have something's been put on you, but it's by a Christian lady. And she said, I have this crazy client who is angry because she worked for like CPS, right? Or it's another division of that. And she said, look, we're taking the skin away from her. And this is a maniac with Christianity. So you don't think they can curse you? Yes, they can curse you. And this woman was like, I can tell you what she looked like. I can tell you all these things about her. And she's like, yes, like this is this woman. And I said, she's targeted you. And how she took that Christianity and she turned it into what we would consider a curse. If you don't think there's curses in the Bible, honey,
Amen.
there's
like I said before, Psalms 109 is one of my favorite biblical hexes, baby. And it's the type of thing: until you do right on me, everything you touch is going to sour and fail.
I have heard that before. Listen, there's a lot of cursing in these mountains, and that's
Oh,
the word of mouth is so much. When you realize how much, when you put that out there and you just say that is a curse stronger than anything.
amen.
Yep, I agree.
That's like it says, the tongue is mightier than the sword, and it's the truth. It can bring healing, or it can bring death.
That's true.
And that's why you don't play, people. That's why you got to be careful. 'Cause we're literally, no matter what your faith is or what your spirituality is, okay, on the scientific level, we're proven to be walking electromagnets. So every time you're putting out something negative in your speech, you're telling the universe, the Almighty, the divine, to give you that negativity.
Right.
When you keep on saying, oh, life is hard, it's too hard to do this. Well, guess what? You're telling it that's how you want the situation, because you're constantly focusing on the negative of the problem instead of asking for solutions and concentrating that the solutions will come to you easily and effortlessly. Because as true witches know about, it's not about changing the situation, it's about changing the energies to make things better for you, and so you can live your best life deliciously, because our lives are the great work, people. You can't be complacent. You got to do things, a little something every day. And I had this one gentleman, was making excuses left and right, because he's a voodoo practitioner out of Haiti. Oh, I need to save up and do for this ritual. I can't do nothing until then. Bullshit.
Right.
No matter what your faith or your religion is, working with your ancestors is still the same. And the easiest way, because we're modern people, we don't always have the money, or we always got the time to do fancy rituals. It's just waking up and saying thank you.
Exactly.
Simple prayers of gratitude. Because if y'all can't be grateful and gracious for the little things, how you expect your ancestors and the divine to give you the big things you're trying to pray on to manifest? Why you think they're holding up on you? Because you're an ungrateful child.
Exactly.
You know, like Jelly Roll says, only call on God when I need a favor. Yes.
Lord,
I love me some jelly.
I know he has me crying in my feelings on something. So yes, I agree with all that, honey. What you said was exactly right. We were told in the beginning, when you get a message, right, if you're trying to develop your psychic abilities, the first thing you do is acknowledge it and say thank you. I don't care what kind of crazy shit they're talking, because that's going to get that communication. They're like, oh shit, they really are listening. They're thankful for this. So yes, we agree with all that. You know, these are the simple things that I think people should be taught more than how do I kill off my husband's girlfriend, or how do I get the
Right, girl.
or say it like, shoot, that'll come later, honey.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And people like
I totally agree.
people
Girls, it's been fabulous. I mean, every time I have you on the show, it flies by so well and everything. And as always, it's an honor, and I look forward to seeing you ladies soon. We're going to have a fun time. We're going to have a magical weekend. We're going to party and learn things and just celebrate being the magical creatures that we are. Everyone, please stay blessed and make sure, try to avoid the conflict. I know a lot of you are going through this craziness with the, you know, you got all the different retrogrades going on, and then with, you know, what the moon right now that's in Leo new moon is conjunct with the, you know, Venus retrograde. So I know a lot of y'all are feeling it with your relationships. If a toxic ex, stay known, stay strong, please. Okay, especially my ladies. Okay, do not get suckered in by them narcissistic abusers. All right. And if you need help, let contact my ladies here, or you can contact me or one of my spiritual advisors at Indigo Psychics, Coffee and Clarity. Real quick, ladies, before we go, please let everyone know what you got going on and how they could contact you for a reading.
Okay, we're going to go down the list really quickly. This weekend, we're heading out to the Sacred Journey Market that is going to be held in Northern Kentucky. Then the weekend after, we're going to Michigan Con, baby. That thing is big. We're excited about that. You can catch us there. And then we're going to be making our way to, we got Triple Moon. Yeah, we're going to RobCon. Then Triple Moon, that's also in Northern Kentucky. We love us from Kentucky. And then we are heading to Scarefest. We're going to be speaking there. We're going to have a booth there. We have so many great things. Plus, you can check us out on Tubi for free. Season of
Yes.
Yes.
I forgot to tell you guys, that was fabulous. Oh my God.
So excited. So our movie, well, the movie that these guys, Jerry and Terrell, they did an amazing job. It's called Season of the Witch, and it gives our perception on witchcraft now modern in the Appalachian Mountains. So that you can buy a book on Amazon. There's also another book, The Sisterhood of Magic and Wonders, and that has some spells in it too. Oh, am I forgetting anything?
You can actually contact us at theconnersisters.com, and Misty is available for distance reading if you cannot catch us at any of our events. We are also on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram.
Woo! All that got out.
Amen. Thank you, ladies. Love y'all. Everyone have a blessed day and a blessed new moon. Keep loving yourselves, because if you don't love yourself, nobody else can, babies. Stay blessed, y'all. Goodbye.
Bye.